Hello YouTube, this is Hunter Surge, here with the Thursday Cardfight Vanguard reveals. Very excited for this one. It's the Deeplands Regarignus reveals. I've been super excited for this deck. It looked super good in the manga. And the manga renditions have been pretty accurate to what we get in on the real cards. Um, so I've been very excited for this deck. Unfortunately, I'm a bit under the weather, but there was no way I was going to miss covering these because I've been so excited for them. I'm so hyped for these cards. So let's get right into it. Before we get into things proper, let's get into let's cover some cards of the day. So we had this grade 3 Brand Gate card, a couple of Brand Gate cards here. Um, this is a grade 3 that has an effect from back row rear, where if you have another rear in the same column as it, it gets boost, and it cannot be retired by your opponent's card effects. Then we've got this grade 2, who is when it's plays on rear from hand and you have 2 or more set orders, you can discard a set order to draw a card soul charge 1. And then we have this grade 2 Rhino. When this unit attacks a grade 3 or greater without being boosted, during this battle you may give this power plus 10k. If you do, retire this unit at the end of the turn. I feel like this Rhino is like super close to being a solid card, but it can't be boosted. Like, being unable to boost this thing hurts it a ton. A ton. Um, very unfortunate. I'm also getting a bit nervous about how often we're seeing the cannot be chosen effect recently on common pack filler, but whatever, it's probably fine. Then we have some Keter cards of the day. So this is a grade 2. When it's placed on Guardian Circle, if a card was placed into your damage zone this turn, you can Energy Blast 2, and during this turn, this card gets shield plus 10k. Not too bad. 15k for EV2 is pretty solid if your deck that isn't really spending your energy. And then we have a grade 1. Once per turn, when this unit boosts, and you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with the clan icon, Soul Charge 1. And then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, during this battle, this gets power plus 5k. This is a clone we've seen a couple times. This card isn't too bad. I wouldn't be super surprised if this popped up somewhere, because it's like a 13k booster that gives you soul, which you might need in some deck. But yeah, let us get into the real juice. Let's get into Deeplands. So first we have the little Blorbo starter here. Deeplands. And then from there, let's get into the rest of the ride lines. So next we have the grade 1. When it's rode upon by the grade 2, you search your deck for a Call of Deeplands from your deck and add to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So Call of Deeplands is crazy. They actually buffed this card significantly from what it did in the manga, and what it did in the manga was already really nuts. Like, they've actually, so like, we'll see this as we go through these cards. What they did in the manga was really solid already, and would almost certainly make a viable deck. Almost every single Deeplands card that we got the effect of in the manga got upgraded in being ported to reality. It's kind of crazy. So Call of Deeplands can be played from drop if you have a Regarignus Vanguard, which is the grade 3. Use Soul Blast 1 and retire 1 rear to play it. You choose up to 2 cards with grades less than or equal to your Vanguards from drop, put them onto rear, and then your Vanguard gets power plus 5k. I'm pretty sure this Vanguard getting plus 5k bit was not in the Skyride manga. And then you activate all of the following according to the amount of cards with the same name as this in your order zone. If there are none, you put it into your order zone, and if there are 1 or more, you bind this card, and you choose 1 Call of Deeplands from your order zone, and during this turn, the power increment from its continuous ability gets an additional plus 5k. In the order zone, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, your Deeplands units that entered from drop by the ability of a card with this card's name or a card with Regarignus in its name get power plus 5k. So, in the manga, Call of Deeplands was Soul Blast. You can play it from drop. Soul Blast. We didn't know about the Soul Blast cost, but we knew it was retire one of your rears. You call back to Deeplands specifically, um, and then for that turn, the player gets the effect of any cards placed from drop get power plus 5k. So this now goes up to plus 10k on your revivals. The one thing, there's a slight downgrade here in that in the manga, this effect would benefit Rotting Usurp Dragon, right? Because Rotting Usurp Dragon allows this deck to get a 6th attack. We'll get into that in a bit. So on Persona Ride turn with Call of Deeplands, you would be able to make your Rotting Usurp just be 28k default, which is a good number. But like getting to call non-Deeplands, which is really important on grade 3 going first, to call back like Flanders and to develop those, if you lost any of those early. Had to guard with them early, had to discard them early, etc., etc. Or they got retired. That's nice. That's very, very nice that it's able to do that. But more importantly, the fact that it's giving power plus 10k to everything you revive with either this order or your Vanguard abilities is extremely strong. Just very, very, very good. Like it like you lose the power on Rotting Usurp, but what you just do there is you just save your booster for one of your boosters for the Rotting Usurp swing, and the Rotting Usurp swing hits 41k. Like it's going to be hitting good numbers anyways, because like a Philanderer, especially on the turn that this is getting its full power, is going to be 18k, or any grade 1 Deeplands you call from the drop with your various effects, that's also going to be 18k booster. So very easy to like just save one of those boosters for the Rotting Usurp attack, and now it's ringing for 41k, which is super, super solid. All right, let us move on from that. That card is absolutely nuts. Also, this Soul Blast cost is going to be relevant later. We'll talk about that in a bit. So let's go back to the ride line. We have the grade 2 Zilgan. When it's rode upon by your grade 3 Regular Ignis, you look top 7 from the top of your deck, and you just mill 2 of them. Very, very good deck thinning effect. Very good for finding us our various pieces that we want in our drop. Like, just very, very good ride line piece. Like, super satisfied with this. Then the Regular Ignises, which are both triple rare. So first we have Deeplands Regular Ignis. This first effect of Regular Ignis is something it just straight up did not have in the manga. Act once per turn, EV2, choose and call 1 from your drop onto rear. Which of course means that you will be getting the plus 10k buff from call on like turn 4 with 5 of your rears, because you will revive 2 with Call of Deeplands, you will revive 1 with Regular Ignis, and then we'll get into the rest in a bit. After it attacks, at the end of its battle, you counterblast 1 and retire 2 rears, and you choose and ride up to 1 grade 3 with a different name from this card that has Regular Ignis in its card name from your drop in stand, and it gets drive -2. Units rode by this effect get all the power and critical increments from trigger effects that this unit received this turn. So since Call of Deeplands asks for units placed from drop, that re-road Regular Ignis is going to have the plus 10k from call itself. And then the Regular Ignis you ride into is Athanasios. When it's placed on Vanguard Circle by the ability of your Deeplands Regular Ignis, you Soul Blast 1, and you choose a Deeplands Regular Ignis from your drop, put it into rear, and at the end of the turn, you ride at rest. So you'll Soul Blast out the Deeplands Regular Ignis, and then call it out, and it's going to get plus 10k from Call's effect. Very, very strong. And something I want to note here is in this rewrite process, nothing causes Athanasios to get bound. So the moment you see a single Athanasios, you have access to it for the entire game, unlike, say, Youthberg exists, where like you need to keep seeing copies. which is super, super nice. You just need a way to get it out of Soul, and like, so this is what I was talking about with the Soul Blast being important on Call of Deeplands. It gives us a really easy way to get our copy of Athanasios out of our soul so that we can rewrite it again. Very, very good card. Um, then when it attacks and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, and this was placed from drop this turn, during this battle, this unit gets drive +1, so you're doing 3 drives across your turn. And then, completely new effect that was not in the manga, this unit gets shield +5k for each grade of your Vanguard with Deeplands in its name. So, this piece that you want to be running a bunch, like, even though you only technically need one, you still want to run 4 of this just for consistency, and also the fact that it's just a 15k shield. It's just a free 15k shield. It's crazy. Like, it's just a 15k shield. It's for Gilla. Like, card is so, so good. This effect is incredible. It's just not a dead draw at all. So, so good. Then we have, a double rare. We have we have one double rare, which is an Orca, a little Orca guy. This card did not appear in any form in the manga. Um, its effect is when it's placed on rare and you have a Deeplands Vanguard. This works even when you revive it with effects, which is super nice. You can either counterblast one or put a card from hand into soul. I know that's not what Freedom Duo says, but that's what it says. It has Ka or right there. You put then you draw one, and then if your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, this gets power +5k. So super nice card because it's a way of getting plus power on your going first turn 3, which is something that's a bit lacking in this deck. But like it's fine because you're still doing 6 attacks and like you're still having like a huge, huge defensive threat on your opponent. Like it's fine. And then Continuous Guardian. If you have a Vanguard with Deeplands in its name, this unit gets shield +5k. So it's just a 10k shield. It's live for filtering or plussing early. Just super, super nice card. Then we have the Shark. This guy did exist in the manga, but we didn't have we never saw any of its effects. So act from drop once per turn. If there's a Call of Deeplands in your order zone, you can Soul Blast one, call this to an empty rear, and then when it attacks a grade 3 or greater unit and your unit was retired by a card ability this turn, during this battle this gets power +5k. So it's getting a bit of power, it's self-reviving itself. If you run this card, I don't think you run many copies of it. You just, like, if you run this card, you run, like, 1 or 2 copies, that's it. But, like, this is a nice thing to have. It's, like, more ways, like, because, like, with this included, you're able to very easily just, like, revive 4 from, like, you just need 1 rear to retire for the call of Deeplands. And then you can just get to 4 rears on board, which is super, super good. Super, super nice. And then it just gets some plus power as well. The one thing with this card is because it's being revived by its own effect and not by the effect of Call of Deeplands or by the effect of Rega Regnus, it will not get the plus 10k power from Call of Deeplands, which definitely really hurts it. That definitely really, really hurts it. It really prevents it from getting to like really good numbers, which is very unfortunate. And then last card is Deeplands Glean. This was a card that we had in the manga. However, it only had this first effect we see here. So, if you have a Deeplands Vanguard, it gets all of the following. First, when it's placed on rear from hand, you look at top 3 cards from your deck, and you send one of them to drop, and then you shuffle your deck. So, like, it's not as good as Bunny, but it's like a mini Philander with the Deeplands name, which means you can revive it with plus 10k. So it's an 18k booster, which is super nice. And then when it's retired from a rear guard circle by any card ability, you can counterblast 1 to draw a card. The main counterblast cost in this entire deck is the Rega Regnus here. for the CB1, retire 2 rears and re-ride. So we will definitely have like enough CB available to get 1 or 2 draws, maybe 3 over the course of the game with Glean's effect, which is super nice. Very, very good. The Glean is super, super nice. Like, in all likelihood, our grade 1 lineup is like 4 Glean, 4 Philander. Also should be noted that this deck can get Philander online pretty quickly. Because, like, okay, so, like, in the course of running up to grade 3, you will discard 3 cards and you will dump 2 from your grade 2 ride line effect. That's already 5 and drop. It is not very difficult. Like Call of Deeplands, like let's say we play Call of Deeplands from drop. That's going to take 3 cards out of our drop, but it's going to put 2 back in because of the rear guard we retire and the Soul Blast. And if we assume we're saving the Philanders for after our Vanguard swing, we have retired rears for that. So we're in a pretty all right. So like we have 2 more rears there, probably only 1 in actuality because of the retire 2. But we're going to be bringing back Rotting Usurp if we have access to it. But then, like, Maedeth is going to Soul Blast 1, if we went for that. We're going to, if we have Philander on the board, we've used Philander effect, so we've got another card and drop. It basically comes out to, like, if you guard, like, with 2 to 3 cards in the early game, you will probably have 10 drop for Philander on turn 3, which is really good considering very few cards in this deck get any power gain before your opponent's on grade 3. Like, Call is completely offline until then. The Shark does not get power until then. Maedith does not get power until then. So, like, most of your power gain is online then. But if you can get Philander online and get, like, 1 or 2 Philanders on your field, that really increases your offensive pressure on your post-Vanguard attacks, which is really, really great. Also, the retire rearguard effect cost of Regular Ignis isn't even real because, like, if you have the Rotting Usurp, you're calling, you would be calling 2 to your front row over top of things you have there anyways. So, like, you'd have to retire those anyways. Like, you're not actually losing anything for that cost. It's kind of crazy. I'm very excited for this deck. I will probably make another video after the cards get added to Cardfight Connect, going over my thoughts on, like, my initial thoughts on how to build the deck and, like, going over, like, your play patterns. But I'm super, super excited for this deck. This deck is super sick. I'm finally getting Grand Blue Drop Zone Revival stuff without any, without, like, all the stinky orders that Zorga requires. Like, it was built to solve this issue I have with Zorga because they made the extra grade 3 you have to run a 15k shield. So, like, it's not a fake hand card. Like, and then the order is like, it's just discard fodder. You discard it as quickly as you can. You can put into Soul with Orca as well. Like, being able to put into Soul with the put to Soul effect of the Orca is just super nice because it's free filtering, but it also lets you go, okay, I'm gonna throw in, like, a Call of Deeplands, or I'm gonna throw in an Athanasios, and then I'm gonna Soul Blast that out and have it in my drop-in ready to access, which is super, super good, and that gives us more soul to feed our Call of Deeplands and, more importantly, our Maediths. So yeah, this deck is super sick. This deck is super cool. I'm very glad to, like, have, like, it feels like the things that I really liked about Grand Blue back in OG and G era, finally represented in a D era deck. It's super cool. I like this a lot. With that said, this is going to be Hunter Search signing off. Oh wait, I forgot. There's one last thing. Next Thursday is Monster Strike. It's more Monster Strike. So we won't be doing any news videos next week because I don't give a shit about Monster Strike. Like, I just don't care. Like, we're not going to be getting these in English. Like, at least with Freerun, like there's a shot we get in English, but like they're not bringing over Monster Strike. Like they didn't bring over the sets for Monster Strike, so they're not going to bring over this Monster Strike collab in this set. Like super obviously, like is just not going to happen. But yeah, okay. So we'll be taking a full break next week. But that'll give me time to make that video on Deeplands. Super excited for that. With that said, this is Hunter Search signing off.